Hi, gang. Carl White here, and I will be your host today here on the Author Showcase. This is the Scotsman's Guide podcast, where we do a deep dive on the fine men and women that write the articles for the Scotsman Guide. And this one is from the residential section, and this was an article for September, and it was called "Don't Overlook This Treasure Trove of Data." And it was written by one of our dear friends, Roger Portela, who happens to be located not too far from me, just down the road in Miami, as I'm up here in Tampa Bay. And he is the Senior Director of Product at PayNearMe. We'll talk about that more here at the end. So, man, it's Roger. It's great to see you here, brother. And thanks for taking the time out to tell us more about what you wrote about.
My pleasure. I could talk about this all day.
Well, perfect. So, give us a little so number one, as you're listening to this today, make sure you go read the September residential issue and read the article that Roger wrote about. Roger, give us like a 36,000 foot view of what this article is about and who could benefit from reading this article.
Sure. So when you think about data, it's a very overused and generalized term. And what I try to talk about in the article is some precise use cases for utilizing data within your organization, specifically because that's my area of expertise around payments. So anytime that you have to accept a payment, you want to make sure that you have the right data available so that you can give that customer the optimal user experience. You can internalize what decisions are going on, and that you can really put your best foot forward.
Got it. So the person that should read this article and or listen to this podcast episode would be those that
make decisions within the organization, either within finance, within marketing, within anyone that looks at the overall general financial health of the organization and incoming revenue.
Sounds good. And what would you say, what's been some of the challenges that lenders faced historically with data accessibility?
I mean, there have been many challenges. So I think one of the ones early in my career is, where do I look? What actually makes a difference within the data? There are so many things that are collected at so many points throughout the customer journey, everything from origination all the way through setup and payment and contract. Oftentimes you have a paralysis over analysis paralysis, that so much data is coming in that you don't even know where to start to look. So understanding what to look at and what tools are available out there to help you visualize and contextualize your data is probably one of the most important things.
And so how have the I don't know, I guess data warehouses, how have they improved the access and the analysis of important information for the mortgage professional? Like how they've improved it here in recent years?
I think it boils down to economies of scale. So because this is what they do for a living, they set up an infrastructure specifically around data warehousing or storing your information. So as a consumer of these data warehouses, I don't have to worry about the infrastructure to support it, the connectivity that has to go on to make sure that data is fast moving in and moving out. I don't have to worry about the security around the data, so I can really offload all of those things and really focus in on what I do best. So I can get rid of the stuff that not my core competency, and then focus on the things that makes my business run.
So when we're collecting this data and then either self-analyzing, or what we'll talk about here in a minute, AI analyzing, like what kind of actionable insights can lenders and originators gain from this data?
I mean, not to use a cliche, but like data is a gold mine, meaning that whatever KPI you're looking at, just the it's even within the information is data. So no matter what decision you're going to make, unless you're just going off pure gut, I don't recommend that. You have to have some sort of data point as a reference. So whether it's something in the UI of your website, whether it's something that data that you're collecting during the origination process, no matter what KPI you're looking to move, by its very definition, you have to have data that is relevant to that needle that you're looking to move.
Yeah.
Understanding what moves those needles is the hard part. Knowing that data is necessary, I think, is just common ground.
Yeah. In the article, you talked a bit about the how AI is impacting this. So, what is the evolution of AI impacting the real-time analysis of this? What must be vast amounts of mortgage-related data that we're seeing these days?
Oh my God. I mean, so AI, even though it's a buzzword nowadays,
Yeah.
it's been around for a long time. There's just been a lot of acceleration around it recently. And then with all the buzz around generative AI and large language models, it's gotten a lot of focus. But really, machine learning has been around for decades. And as computational power increases, its capabilities are growing and growing.
What's some actionable items, or how has the AI impacted the real time analysis of vast amounts of this mortgage data?
So, like, for example, even 10 years ago, if we were looking at a billion records of whatever data we're looking at, whether it be payment histories or whatnot, oftentimes you would have to, with a lot of detail, specifically ask your data analyst or a data scientist what you're looking for. There would have to be a lot of back and forth, whereas AI and machine learning models have come in and been able to tell you what matters without you having to ask for it. So if I dump a lot of data into a machine learning model and specifically tell it, this is the goal that I'm looking for, you can tell me what influencers, you being the AI model, tell me what influencers make that needle move. So I think that's been the biggest leap that we have seen recently, is the computational power, and then the software that is able to take these abstract terms that humans understand, but machines always had a problem because they needed everything very binary, 0 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where you've seen a lot of the more recent advancements.
So how about for the consumer? How can explain how payment data can help pinpoint areas of improvement for the homeowner's journey?
So the homeowner's journey, in addition to looking at factors, and what we've seen is looking at historical factors of someone's payment experience, everything from the bank that they use, the where they're from in the country, which DMA essentially they're located in, help homeowners in the end set up payment schedules and timelines that help them align with what they're capable of paying. So looking at various demographic and other payment related data allows lenders to set up payment schedules for their consumers, which align with their budgets and their ability to pay. In addition to that, we also can help consumers, especially you specifically asked about home consumers,
Yeah.
In setting up tender types that are accessible to them. So oftentimes, just like in a regular, if you go to like a Cheesecake Factory or a New Jersey diner, they'll have like this 30-page menu, and you look at it and you say, oh, there are too many choices to make a decision. What we've seen is that if you just show consumers the thing that they're looking for and add links or something to say, hey, you see additional options, they're more likely to move forward in a step. So less but better choices make a better journey. And we see the same type of behavior in the payment area. So if they have many different types of tender types, or PayPal, Venmo, Cash, ACH, could also kind of go into that, decision paralysis bucket. So those are a couple of different ways that homeowners and consumers can benefit from these types of machine learning algorithms.
There was another part of it, which I thought was really interesting. A couple things. Tell us a little bit about how AI can help in customizing strategies for, say, accounts that are past due.
Well, this is where it gets really interesting because lenders, from what I've seen, are all over the place. Some offer split payments. Some say that you can just skip a payment. The amount of options out there for consumers are vast if you look at all the different lenders. So an AI model can look at various different factors and say, hey, Carl, for you, we think that if you split up the next payment into 3 installments or something like that, that would make best sense for you as Carl. Whereas Roger, you get to skip a payment because you're in between jobs or something like that, and it will be able to tell you, based upon who is visiting you, what the ideal model or payment setup might be. And then you have much more forward-thinking type of AI tools out there, which do automatic calling, and much better than most of the things that you see out there now, where you get like a voice on there and say, "Hi, Carl, how can I help you today in your mortgage lending?" And it's this obvious voice that as soon as you hear it, you begin to cringe. Some of the tools that we're testing with today are so much more advanced than that you can have a conversation with it, and it will respond with context, and it's not afraid to say, "Hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't ask me about the Yankees this year. Got no clue." Right. So it's able to interact in a much more clear and human-like fashion. So I'm looking forward to that, Carl.
I saw you had a thing in there that was startling to me, and you mentioned that the average customer service call for a company was like, it cost them $8 per call that the customer service had to make, while self-service methods were like 10 cents. Right, so almost just an exorbitant difference in the two examples there. So, I think having this so that your AI is can it really emphasizes the importance of setting up these self-service type payment things with the AI model through data collection. I thought that was interesting.
And even though like the voice-powered AI is like a cool factor, me as a consumer, if I don't have to talk to anybody and I can self-serve and do it myself, all that much better. It's very frustrating for me to say, oh, I have to go to, something everybody hates. I have to go to an airline website and change a ticket or something like that. It can become quite frustrating and quite stressful. With these new AI tools, it allows that custom journey. We go, hey, Roger, we know that you like to sit on an aisle seat, here, so therefore these are your options, and we're not even going to show you connecting flights. So this is a journey that's tailored for you. And normally you could do that nowadays, even before AI, but you would have to lay out this flow chart and decision tree and make sure that every base is covered, as opposed to the AI, which can just say, okay, well, this is what I'm dealing with. Let me put together the different components that I have, and model it just for you.
Yeah. So a lot of interesting stuff here. How do you see the future of the mortgage industry evolving with the growth and sophistication of AI and the analytics?
Well, I think that we're going to be looking at a big revolution pretty soon when it comes to um, everything from fraud prevention to ensuring that that people receive a loan that they can pay back effectively and not be late with their payments or default.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think that some of those big needles, I'm a big believer in an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and we're going to see a lot of preventative measures that, in the long term, we're going to look back and say, "Wow, we cured a lot with just a little bit of prevention on the front end."
Hmm. And what would you for those of us that might not be quite as quick on the technology, what advice would you give to mortgage professionals who might be hesitant or overwhelmed with the idea of diving deep into the data analysis? What
Bring in a
about us old dinosaurs?
bring in a partner. You
Hmm.
know, we we often have, as an industry within technology, a debate of build versus buy. And AI is one of these things that is moving so fast that you have to be on top of it constantly in order to keep up with its pace. So don't be afraid to bring in a partner, ask questions of others, join focus groups where you're sharing information. Even within PayNearMe, we have a lot of meetings with our customers. We have councils of our customers, and we talk about these types of subjects, networking. And then understanding that if you're going to be bringing in this type of talent in order to address these types of things, it is very specialized.
Yeah.
So know who you're bringing on, know who you're hiring, and making sure that their talents align with your organization's goals.
Yeah. Good stuff, Roger. And Roger, you're the senior director of a product called Pay Near Me.
Yes.
What is that?
So PayNearMe enables its customers to take payments. It's really as simple as that. But you think about the payment journey, you don't have to have a relationship with MasterCard and with Visa and with Amex and with PayPal and so on and so on. We take care of all of that for you. You don't have to worry about PCI compliance. We take on PCI compliance for you. So we collect all the credit card information and the address information, and we store it and get rid of it as soon as it's not necessary or when the law tells us that we have to. So we take care of all of that burden. In addition to that, we also offer a variety of different related experiences like communications that we send out to customers and reporting and things like raw data analysis and expertise on machine learning and AI.
Very interesting. And Roger, if somebody wants to connect up with you, what's the best way to do that?
So if you just go to our website, you fill in a contact form, and somebody will usually get back to you within a day.
And that website?
PayNearMe.com.
PayNearMe.com. Good enough. Roger, is anything I should ask you today that I didn't, or did I cover it okay? Is there something I missed?
Well, I think that especially within the mortgage industry, knowing that an AI model or a machine learning model is auditable is extremely important,
Mm.
especially when you're dealing with originations. So there is a concept out there, for right or wrong, that much of AI is a black box, which a lot of it is, which means that you throw a bunch of data at it and it comes back with a decision. And oftentimes you're like, how did you come to that decision? I don't know. The AI model told me. No, 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 no. None of that. Even though most of the AI models that offer complete transparency are a little bit slower to run, it's worth it. Because if you say, why was this particular person given a loan or not given a loan, then you can go through all the steps of that and audit that trace and say, this is exactly why, and these are the weights that were put behind it. So within finance, that's one of the most important things that we have to do is make sure that that decision is auditable.
Mm.
Other than that, I think that one of the biggest things that people have trouble with is reversing the way that we make decisions. oftentimes in the way that we create content or create user flows right now, we come up with ideas and say, oh, I want to change the payment flow. Let's make it a red color and try a green color and try a blue color and this, that, the other thing. And then we're going to move this around. And 6 months later, we come up with an A through D test. And then a month after that, we come up with results. And then, whereas the AI model comes up, I'm going to try red, mauve, taupe, a bunch of other colors I've never heard of. Try this image, that image. And then a week later, maybe a month later, you'll start seeing that trend and start having much more confidence behind that model. So that's one big differentiator, that you tell it the goals that you want to move and let it come up with the ideas for the most part, or at least give it a set of options or a series of options. So it's kind of a bit of a reverse thinking in that sense.
You know, we're in for an interesting, the next decade is going to be very interesting, isn't it?
Beyond interesting. I think it's going to be one of the most pivotal moments if you look at technology, and comparable to the advent of the computer age, the internet. We're going to see the age of AI.
And maybe even electricity itself. Yeah.
And maybe even electricity competing with the printing press.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's very interesting times. Well, Roger, it's nice to know I got super smart people like you to be able to put this in simple forms so that I can understand what's going on. I really appreciate you being on here today, and listeners, thank you so much for listening in. We always appreciate those reviews as you're listening to this on the podcast episode or podcast platforms. We always appreciate those reviews. It helps get the word out. And Roger, anything else? Are we good?
I think we're great. Thanks very much for the time, Carl. And like I said, I could talk about this all day. So anytime you want to sit back down, feel free to reach out.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, Roger Portela over at PayNearMe. And you've been listening to the Author Showcase. This is the Scotsman Guide podcast. I appreciate you being there, and we'll see you on the next episode. So thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.